historic civilian helicopters, in this case ex-military, and a very fine pair of Westland Gazelles from the Gazelle Squadron display team based at Bourne Park Airfield. Both of these in Royal Air Force markings. We've got the white one in the colours of a Gazelle operated in the VIP transport role by number 32 Squadron. The red and white one is in the characteristic RAF helicopter training livery of the day, and it's an aircraft that served in the basic rotary training role with number 2 Flying Training School at RAF Shawbury. They've got a third aircraft here which is in Fleet Air Arm colours, and those are the markings of the famous Sharks display team from 705 Naval Air Squadron. That's in the static park as part of the Navy Wings display. We've got Dr. Terry Martin there also with his Westland Wasp, because Terry and the Gazelle Squadron amongst the associate operators of Navy Wings. Now, Dave, if you'd joined the Navy a few years earlier than you did, the Gazelle would have been the type that you trained on.
It is, so I trained on the Squirrel helicopter up at RAF Shawbury, which is the Defence Helicopter Training School there. But yeah, we used to train our own pilots down at 705 down in Cold Rose with the Gazelle helicopter, and that's where they generated the Royal Navy Sharks display team, which was from the 70s all the way through to the 90s.
A very attractive little helicopter, this, much beloved by its pilots for its very sporty performance.
Yeah, it's a very small, light, single-engine helicopter. The Army used it very much so in the reconnaissance role, and the Navy used it as a trainer. But very good basic helicopter for developing that initial flying handling skills of a rotary-wing pilot.
And it's still in service, no longer with either the RAF nor the Royal Navy, but the Army Air Corps still uses the Gazelle AH-1. Very useful for operational tasks in Northern Ireland, and they expect to keep them in use as late as 2025.
That's what we said, didn't we? We said 3
So the 2 Gazelles coming in for their first pass. Now, one thing you may have noticed as they pass by there is that the Gazelle doesn't have a traditional tail rotor. In fact, it has what's known as a fenestron design. Now, Dave, can you explain a little more about that?
Thanks, Ben. You're really going to test my knowledge on this one. Okay, so yeah, the fenestron. The word fenestra is fenestra, French word for window. Fenestra, that's one. French word for window. And as you see, it looks like the tail rotor is in a shroud, so it looks like a window. Hence the name fenestron, designed by French. Initially, they thought that the designers thought they couldn't get more than 5 blades onto a tail rotor to work efficiently. But by trial and error, they came up with the fenestron, which is hugely in excess of 5 blades, depending on the aircraft you have. And it has lots of advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages is it's quieter, so the helicopters generally make a lot of noise, so to keep it a bit more stealthy. But also, because it's protected, it's less likely to get damaged by what we call FOD, which is foreign object debris, which could be anything that is not supposed to be there. So especially if you're operating out of fields.
The Army Air Corps, which were the only ones not used for training purposes, though the Royal Marines, number 3 Commando Brigade Air Squadron, also took them very much into harm's way. The Army Gazelles saw a great deal of active service, Northern Ireland of course, and they're still there, but also in the Falklands, in the Gulf War, in the Balkans, in Sierra Leone, Second Gulf War, and in Afghanistan. Two aircraft turn to face us. The white one down at the left-hand end of the crowd line, the team named Gloria. It's in fact a former training helicopter with number 2 Flying Training School, though it has been painted in this VIP transport scheme of number 32 Squadron. and that one served latterly during its military days with Kinetic, the flight test organisation at Boscombe Down. A good demonstration of Gazelle manoeuvrability as they pirouette down the display line, turning to face one another. And going into a manoeuvre often called the carousel. The red and white one of the pair, meanwhile, the team calls Ginger. It was built in 1982, in which year it also joined the RAF's training fleet with number 2 Flying Training School at Shawbury in Shropshire. And it was used by number 7 Squadron, one of the RAF's Chinook units at Odium in Hampshire, for night vision reconnaissance sorties. Flying the pair today, we've got Tim Gray and Andy Usher, both former members of 847 Naval Air Squadron. Flying both the Lynx and the Gazelle. .847, the Royal Marines unit, formerly known as 3 Commander Brigade Air Squadron. Easy to see why the Gazelle has become so popular in civilian hands, even though, as I said, it's still very much in UK military service. A rapid, attractive, fun-to-fly helicopter with that bit of ex-military pedigree about it as well. So, gaining a bit of altitude prior to taking a final bow. Prior to that, turning in towards each other again for their crossing break. The 2018 Gazelle Squadron display team. Thanks to the 2 pilots, Tim Gray and Andy Usher, and we look forward to seeing much more of them on the circuit in the future because they're hoping in due course to build up to as much as a 4 aircraft team. They've got a very large number of Gazelles in their care at Bourne Park, and that really will rekindle memories of the Royal Navy Sharks display team of yesteryear, seen at so many Yeovilton Air Days. Well, now we return to the fast jet scene and a display we've never seen at a Yeovilton Air Day before. It comes to us courtesy of the Hellenic Air Force from Greece, and it is Demo Team Zeus.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to the Yeovilton Air Day 2018. I'm Lieutenant Chris Haritos, together with our safety observer, Major Volakakis, and our film crew, Major Brakoulias. As a member of the Hellenic Air Force demo team, it is my pleasure today to describe for you a capability demonstration of the F-16 Block 52+. The pilot for today's demonstration is Major George Papadakis with more than 1,000 flight hours in the F-16. The team's call sign is Zeus, representing the father of the Olympian gods of the ancient Greek mythology. The Zeus demo team in the last 7 years has been present in air shows all over Europe. It's worth mentioning that in this year alone, Zeus will be in England, Belgium and Poland. However, today we're here in Yeovilton to honor our invitation for the English Air Show. The aircraft of today's demonstration has conformal